So, what if I told you that you have a set of hidden superpowers you never even knew about? Get this, a book from way back in 1930, Charles Fillmore's The 12 Powers of Man, makes this wild claim that humanity is basically on the verge of a massive upgrade, and the keys to it all? They're already inside each and every one of us. This isn't your typical self-help book. It's more like a blueprint for a new kind of human. Let's dive in.
Just think about that for a second. What if your mind isn't just for, thinking? What if it's more like a super advanced operating system with 12 different apps, each one with a special job? And what if, up until now, you've only been using maybe one or two of them?
For Fillmore, the number 12 is everything. It's the key. It's like a divine blueprint, a complete system for a new and improved human being. And look, this isn't just some mystical numerology. He lays it out as a practical guide to unlocking real, tangible powers you can actually use. We're talking about things like unwavering faith, boundless imagination, and perfect order.
All right, so to really get the solution, we first have to understand the problem as Fillmore saw it. He believed we're all living in this tragically limited state. He described it like being a caterpillar that has absolutely no idea it's supposed to become a butterfly. He saw this incredible potential for a new kind of human, what he called supermen. And no, not with capes and flying, but in terms of our spiritual and mental evolution.
So, Fillmore's diagnosis is actually pretty simple. For the most part, we're asleep. We've got these incredible inner abilities, these connections to something way bigger than ourselves, but they're just dormant. They're lying there waiting for us to wake them up.
So what's keeping us asleep? Well, Fillmore points the finger at one main culprit, the selfish ego. And this isn't just about being arrogant. It's that little voice in your head, you know the one, that's always obsessed with personal gain, with ambition, with fear. It's the part of you that's constantly worrying about what other people think, that's always competing. And that, he says, is the very thing that keeps us stuck in limitation, decay, and what he calls a perishing state.
But here's the good news. Fillmore doesn't just diagnose the problem and leave us hanging. He offers a very specific solution, a path forward he calls regeneration. And it's a path that promises to take us from that caterpillar to the butterfly.
He draws this really sharp line in the sand. On one side, you have generation. That's the normal cycle of human life. Think of it like running on a treadmill. You're putting in the effort, but you're not really going anywhere new. But then there's regeneration. And that is a whole different ballgame. It's a conscious, deliberate process of evolving, of unfolding the divine potential that's already inside you. It's less like a treadmill and more like building a rocket ship. And this might be the most important part of his entire idea. Regeneration is not about what happens after you die. He is crystal clear on this. It is a tangible, physical process for this life. The end goal is a total transformation of your mind and your body to achieve eternal life right here, right now, in your physical form.
Okay, so how do we actually do this? Well, Fillmore looks at the figure of Jesus in a completely new way. He says he isn't some distant deity to be worshipped. Instead, he's the way-shower, the perfect example, the prototype of what a fully regenerated human looks like. He's the one who proved that this transformation is possible for every single one of us, not just some chosen few. It's a pretty radical idea, and it's absolutely key to his whole practical approach.
All right, so if Jesus is the model, what was in his toolkit? And way more importantly, what's in our toolkit? Well, here's the cool part. According to Fillmore, the tools are already pre-installed. We just need to learn how to use them. Let's take a look at these 12 powers.
And there it is, the whole system. This is really the heart of Fillmore's teaching. He literally maps the 12 apostles to 12 fundamental powers inside every single one of us. Faith, strength, love, imagination, you name it. But this is where it gets really wild. He says each power is physically located at a specific nerve center in your body. It's like a spiritual blueprint drawn right onto our own anatomy. Faith, for example, is in the center of the brain. Strength is in the loins. Love is in the back of the heart. This isn't just an abstract idea. It's a psychophysical reality.
Okay, so we've got this amazing inner dream team of powers. The question is, how do we get them off the bench and into the game? How do we wake them up and actually put them to work? Fillmore says we have to consciously train them, and we have to start with the absolute foundation of our being. He starts with the very first apostle Jesus called, Peter, and he takes this super famous quote, one most of us have heard, and gives it a whole new, very personal meaning. In Fillmore's world, this isn't about building a church on a guy named Peter. Nope.
It's about a faculty that's inside you right now.
So here's the key. Peter is the metaphysical symbol for our faculty of faith. He's the rock, the bedrock, the absolute foundation you build everything else on. If your faith faculty is shaky, the whole structure is going to crumble. It is step one, the absolute most important step on this path of regeneration.
But Fillmore is really careful here. He says there are two different kinds of faith. There's intellectual faith, that's kind of just hoping for the best. It's passive. It allows for doubt. But then there's spiritual faith, and that's active. It's not hoping, it's knowing. It's the difference between being a passenger crossing your fingers on a plane and being the pilot who knows exactly how to land it. We have to activate the pilot's faith.
And the power that comes with this activated faith? Well, it's immense. Fillmore takes this quote completely literally. He says, don't read this as a metaphor. It was meant as an instruction. He believed faith isn't just a feeling, it's a force. And when you combine that force with another powerful tool, your own voice, the spoken word, you can literally change the world around you.
To explain this, Fillmore used the cutting-edge technology of his day, the radio. He said, look at this. A human voice, when it's sent through a radio, can be amplified to have the power of 2,700 men. It becomes 100 million times more powerful. So his question to us is simple. If a machine can do that to a word, just imagine what happens when that word is supercharged by Spirit. So all of this, activating the powers, building our faith, it's all leading somewhere. It's all building toward the book's single biggest, most mind-blowing claim. A claim that, if it's true, honestly changes everything we think we know about life and death. We aren't just aiming for a better life. We're aiming to overcome the final universal enemy. But hold on. There is a huge warning label on all this. The kind of energy we're talking about unlocking here is not a toy. It is immensely powerful. And Fillmore warns that if the selfish ego gets its hands on this power, if you try to use it for personal gain or to manipulate people, it backfires. It actually becomes destructive. This path demands discipline.
So what's the whole point? What's the grand prize at the end of all this work? It's not just about finding peace or becoming enlightened. The ultimate goal is what he calls the redemption of our body, a complete preservation and transformation of our physical selves. This is not about escaping the body, it's about perfecting it.
And this brings us to Fillmore's most radical interpretation of all. He reads this promise and says, this is not a metaphor for heaven. This is a literal instruction manual. The ultimate potential unlocked by mastering these 12 powers is the ability to overcome physical death itself, to achieve immortality right here in the body. It is a breathtaking claim, but it's the ultimate promise of this incredible system.
So, in the end, Fillmore leaves us with a blueprint for a total human upgrade, a roadmap to get from our current, limited state to a fully realized, divinely empowered existence. And it all begins with a single step. The toolkit is already inside you. The powers are just waiting. So the only real question left is, which of your 12 powers will you awaken first?